Summary of the life and career of Socrates, father of moral philosophy. Chapter 1, Childhood and Family, 469 to 450 BC. Socrates was born in 469 BC in Alapeque, a region near Athens, during the peak of ancient Greek civilization. He was the son of Socrates, a stone sculptor, and Phaenarete, a midwife. His family belonged to the middle class, not wealthy but sufficient, allowing him access to basic education, including reading, writing, mathematics, and poetry. At this time, Athens, under the leadership of Pericles, was a center of culture, politics, and philosophy. Direct democracy encouraged freedom of thought and public debate. Pericles promoted the arts, philosophy, such as Anaxagoras, and rhetoric, creating a vibrant intellectual atmosphere. This influenced Socrates' early thinking, as he was exposed to progressive ideas and learned to question. Socrates grew up in the context of Athens, having just achieved victory in the Persian Wars, a period of prosperity but also turmoil. He lived in a society that valued education and democracy, where public forums were centers of discussion. He often observed debates between politicians, poets, and orators, thereby developing a sharp mind. From a young age, Socrates was described as a curious child who loved to question and debate, especially about things others took for granted. He pondered traditional values, such as the meaning of courage or justice, rather than accepting them blindly. This habit laid the foundation for his later critical philosophical method. There are no records of Socrates receiving specialized philosophical training during this period. No ancient sources definitively confirm that he practiced sculpting, but Plato and Xenophon suggest that his father, Socrates, may have taught him the craft. Some modern scholars believe Socrates abandoned sculpting early to pursue philosophy. His mother, Phaenarete, a midwife, left a mark on Socrates' thinking. He likened his philosophical method to the art of midwifery, meutics, helping others give birth to truth. His parents' professions not only provided skills but also influenced how he viewed philosophy, as a process of extracting and shaping truth from the human mind. During his youth, Socrates married Xantippe, a woman known for her strong personality. They had 3 sons, Lamprocles, Sophroniscus, named after Socrates' father, and Menexenus. Some sources indicate that Xantippe complained about Socrates spending too much time on philosophy rather than family matters, but he still maintained family life alongside his philosophical career. The relationship between Socrates and Xantippe is not well documented, but he demonstrated a balance between his philosophical mission and personal responsibilities. The context of Athens under Pericles, combined with his curiosity and questioning spirit, shaped a young Socrates ready to embark on a philosophical journey, challenging traditional values and seeking truth. Chapter 2, Career and Philosophical Method, 450 to 430 BC. Around 450 BC, Socrates began to stand out as a street philosopher in Athens. He did not write books or establish a formal school, but his dialogue method, known as the Socratic method, became a hallmark in the history of philosophy. Instead of lecturing directly, Socrates asked questions to guide discussions, forcing interlocutors to discover truth and recognize contradictions in their thoughts. This method often began with him pretending to know nothing, Socratic irony, and asking questions like, "What is justice?" or "What is virtue?" to uncover deeper truths. He believed true knowledge came from self-awareness, and he encouraged people to examine their beliefs. Socrates frequently appeared in the central square of Athens, debating with all social classes, from politicians and poets to craftsmen and youths. He did not accept payment for teaching, unlike the rhetoricians, sophists, such as Protagoras or Gorgias, who earned a living by teaching persuasive debating skills, regardless of truth. Socrates sought objective truth and genuine understanding, openly criticizing the sophists for distorting truth for personal gain, unconcerned with morality or true knowledge. This distinction highlighted his philosophical mission. Socrates believed he was guided by a daimonion, an inner voice he described as a divine sign that helped him avoid wrongdoing. In dialogues, he referred to the daimonion as a source of personal moral guidance, not a prophetic voice, but a rational intuition, preventing him from engaging in unjust actions, such as compromising with injustice or participating in violent politics. He also served in the Athenian army as an infantryman during the Peloponnesian War, participating in the battles of Potidaea, 432 BC, Delium, 424 BC, and Amphipolis, 422 BC. Socrates was noted for his bravery, once saving Alcibiades in the Battle of Potidaea by protecting him when injured. His courage in the military and his philosophical method bolstered his reputation in Athens, though it also increased suspicion from some societal groups. Chapter 3, Major Events and Conflicts, 430 to 399 BC. In the 430s BC, Athens faced a crisis due to the Peloponnesian War and a plague that killed a third of its population, including Pericles. Socrates continued his philosophical pursuits amidst life-and-death struggles, unaffected by the circumstances. He lived frugally, walking barefoot and wearing an old cloak, focusing on seeking truth rather than material possessions, demonstrating his dedication to his philosophical mission. He frequently challenged leaders and rhetoricians, questioning their morality and justice, as seen in debates with Anytus, a powerful politician, and Miletus, a poet. His outspokenness caused conflicts, especially as some of his students were involved in controversial actions, increasing suspicion among Athens authorities regarding his influence. Alcibiades, a prominent student, betrayed Athens during the Peloponnesian War by defecting to Sparta and later Persia, causing significant losses to the city-state. Critias, another student, became a leader in the tyrannical 30 regime, 404 to 403 BC, suppressing democracy and committing numerous atrocities. Although Socrates did not support their actions and even criticized Critias, the authorities still suspected him. The indirect association with Alcibiades and Critias heightened hostility toward Socrates, making him a target for those seeking to preserve traditional social order. They believed he negatively influenced the youth through his philosophical teachings, undermining Athens' traditional values, leading to his increasing isolation in society. In 403 BC, after democracy was restored, Socrates refused to participate in violent political activities. When the 30 ordered him to arrest an innocent citizen, Socrates firmly refused, despite the risk of punishment. This act demonstrated his refusal to compromise with injustice, even though it made him more of a target for hostility. In 399 BC, Socrates was brought to trial on 3 charges: not worshipping the gods of Athens, introducing new deities, and corrupting the youth. The trial took place at the People's Court in Athens, with 500 jurors. Miletus, Anytus, and Lyco accused him. Socrates defended himself, stating, "An unexamined life is not worth living," affirming his philosophical mission. After being found guilty, Socrates was asked to propose an alternative punishment. He could have chosen a fine or exile, but instead, he provocatively suggested being honored and given free meals at the Prytaneum, a privilege reserved for Athens' heroes. This proposal angered the jury, leading to a harsher death sentence: drinking poison. He was convicted with 280 votes for guilt and 220 for acquittal. Despite the opportunity to escape, Socrates accepted the verdict, spending his final days in prison discussing philosophy with his students, particularly about the soul and immortality. He refused to compromise, believing that fleeing would contradict his philosophical mission and belief in justice. He died in 399 BC at the age of 70, calmly, leaving an enduring philosophical legacy through his death for truth. Chapter 4, Discoveries and Contributions to Humanity. Socrates left no written works, but his ideas were recorded by Plato and Xenophon, laying the foundation for Western philosophy. The Socratic method, involving questioning to uncover truth, forms the basis of critical thinking, encouraging individuals to self-examine and question their values and beliefs rather than accepting them blindly. He emphasized the importance of self-awareness. Socrates believed that understanding oneself, limitations, values, and shortcomings, was the first step to gaining knowledge and living virtuously, a principle that deeply influenced later philosophy, from Plato to modern thinkers. He focused on the nature of justice, courage, and piety, asserting that knowledge is virtue, if people truly understand, they will act rightly. Socrates stressed that, an unexamined life is not worth living, urging people to reflect and live according to reason rather than following desires or traditions. This spirit of examination became a guiding principle for modern philosophy and science. He also indirectly fostered skepticism by constantly questioning assumptions, refusing to accept obvious beliefs without logical justification. He also contributed to modern scientific skepticism, where hypotheses must be tested, a principle influencing scientists like Descartes and Hume. Through Plato, Socrates' ideas shaped major philosophical schools, such as Platonism and Aristotelianism, forming the foundation of Western philosophy across centuries. Socrates also influenced democratic thought by advocating for the right to free thought and debate, believing that everyone, regardless of class, could participate in the pursuit of truth. This laid the groundwork for later democratic systems, where free speech and critical thinking are valued, from the time of John Stuart Mill to the present. Socrates' death became a symbol of sacrifice for truth, leaving a lesson in courage and integrity. His ideas have inspired humanity across centuries, from ancient philosophers to modern thinkers, affirming the value of knowledge, ethics, and an examined life in building a more just society. Chapter 5: Legacy and Lasting Impact. After Socrates' death, Plato recorded his dialogues in the book Apology. Xenophon also documented them in Memorabilia and Symposium, providing a different perspective on Socrates' character and ideas. He became a symbol of Western philosophy, influencing generations of thinkers across historical periods. Socrates influenced many Greek philosophical schools, including the Cynics, founded by Antisthenes and developed by Diogenes of Sinope. Diogenes, living ascetically in a barrel, inherited Socrates' spirit of simplicity and disregard for material things, viewing virtue as the highest goal, independent of society, a concept rooted in Socrates' philosophy of spiritual freedom. He also influenced Aristotle, Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, Renaissance thinkers, such as Erasmus, and modern philosophers, like Nietzsche and Kierkegaard. In modern times, Soren Kierkegaard called Socrates the first martyr of philosophy, emphasizing that he sacrificed his life for truth, refusing to compromise with societal pressures, becoming a model for absolute dedication to thought. Kierkegaard viewed Socrates' death as a symbol of existential philosophy, influencing later thinkers. He is regarded as the father of moral philosophy and the originator of critical thinking. The Socratic method continues to be applied in education, law, and science, promoting skepticism and exploration, from philosophy classrooms to modern courtrooms. Despite being condemned by Athenian democracy, his spirit of questioning and free thought laid the foundation for modern democratic thinking. He championed the right to free speech and critical thinking, asserting that everyone, regardless of class, could participate in the pursuit of truth, a core principle in democratic systems from John Stuart Mill to today. Socrates' ideas have been recognized through philosophical works across centuries, from antiquity to the modern era. He inspired thinkers, educators, and advocates for justice and freedom worldwide. His legacy lies in affirming the value of truth, courage in the face of injustice, and the importance of an examined life. Socrates is not only a philosopher but also a symbol of steadfastness and integrity. His ideas continue to influence philosophy, education, and modern society, encouraging people to question, seek truth, and live by reason. His legacy is a testament to the power of philosophy in shaping a more just and humane world.